What's going on, guys? Welcome to the course. So I'm really excited to get into this. Obviously, as an entrepreneur, when we all start out, there's a million different directions that you can go. You hop online, you see, hey, I can make money doing this. Hey, I could do this. Hey, I could turn this into a career, right? But you're really unsure at that current time period, how you should actually approach it, right? So what I usually tell a lot of new aspiring entrepreneurs, and this is exactly what was told to me and the route that I took, is you want to try a bunch of different things. You want to learn a little bit about a bunch of different things. That way you can find out what you like and what you're good at, okay? Once you do find out what you're liking and what you're good at, right, then you want to obviously go all in and double down on that. That's why I created this course. That's why I'm giving you brief overviews of a million different ways that I've succeeded online, and you can obviously do the same, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to think of it as like a T, right? So if we just draw a T up on the screen, maybe I'll pop a T up on the screen so you can see, right? What you want to do is the top of the T obviously goes for, staying broad. You want to be broad in a lot of different categories and know a little bit about a bunch of different things just to get your base going, right? But then once you do find out that one thing that maybe piques your interest, or that one thing that you're very good at that you can leverage your skills at, or the one thing that you really have a passion for, and just go all in and double down on that, right? So that's why I created this course. I'm really excited to kind of outline all these things. It's kind of fun for me to kind of reminisce and go back to all the different ways that I've succeeded online. Obviously, some of these are still, good, and some of them are outdated. So every single lecture, I'll go through, my current experience with that, whether I recommend it to you, and whether or not I still do it, right? How I get into it and all that good stuff. So this is a great opportunity for you to kind of learn a bunch of different things about a bunch of different business models, and then obviously figure out which one piques your interest and then go all in on that. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to help you out with that. But with that being said, guys, let's just jump into the lectures. I'm excited. So before we jump into the actual lectures in the course, I want to let you know that I actually went ahead and created an entire PowerPoint that outlines this. Obviously, you'll see me go through it in the course. We'll hop into my computer in the next lecture, and we'll start breaking down the different business models and my approach with them, how I actually did them, and how I was successful doing so, right? Obviously, you can either watch it on my computer, or you can just go through and follow along on your own PowerPoint, and let's hop in to the next lecture. All right, so let's go over the course overview right here. Now, obviously, if you look right here, we have the course welcome. We're going over the overview. Then we're going to move on to, some of the business models that I've actually made money from right from my laptop and that you can turn into a career as well, right? So we'll cover retail arbitrage. We'll cover online arbitrage. And obviously, usually in my overviews, I kind of touch on and briefly kind of key in on what these specific lectures are, but it would defeat the purpose, obviously, of covering them specifically in those lectures. So I'm just going to give you a broad outline right here, explain the, kind of how the course is structured and what you're going to be learning. So if one, maybe piques your interest, or you have a disposed interest to one of these, you can just jump ahead to that actual lecture currently, right? Now, these might change. I might add something in here and there, but right now in this overview, I'm just going to give you kind of the structure, and then you can go find that lecture or take it in, in kind of sequence like I've structured it, because obviously I think that it bodes well for the student if you do so, okay? So I won't be elaborating too much on these in the overview. I just wanted to touch on that. So like I said, we have retail arbitrage, then we'll cover online arbitrage. We'll talk about reselling online. Obviously, I started the course with 3 of those because I love them dearly, and there's something that I still do. Another thing that I still do that I'm doing right now, creating online courses. Highly recommend that you look into that as well. Starting an agency is one of the best business models, in my opinion. The agency business model is so good for so many reasons, and it's also great for beginners. Then we'll touch on affiliate marketing and CPA marketing. We'll then cover starting a blog, starting a YouTube channel, and starting a podcast. All really similar, great opportunities that you can obviously take advantage of, but I'll kind of introduce you to them, and then it's up to you to get off and running with them. But highly recommend that you look into those here right now and going forward into the future. They're great opportunities, and I'm doing all of them, okay? So then we'll talk about ebooks, we'll cover audiobooks, we'll talk about growing a social media page and monetizing it. Also a great opportunity as well. They all are. I wouldn't put them in here. Also, in these, like I said initially, I'm also going to be covering specifically in these, how I got into the business model, my specific experience with it, whether I still do it, and whether I recommend it to you
currently, right? And going forward. So I think that's really going to help you out, because obviously this course specifically is, 42 ways that I've made money online and that you can obviously turn, it into a full-time income. But a lot of these, not a lot of them, but some of them are a little bit outdated. And while they still might work, I wouldn't recommend that you actually start them going forward. Okay. So that's going to be crucial. Make sure that you not just watch, the specific lecture, but then the end of the lecture as well, whether I recommend it, my experience, and so on and so forth. Okay. Then we'll talk about investing in the stock market, whether that's, blue chip stocks, mutual funds, or dividend stocks. There's a lot of great opportunities with that. You should always have the same approach, and we'll talk about that in the stock market. Obviously, I'm, relatively young compared to, people with experience in the stock market, but I have a lot of very, very successful investing friends, and I have a lot of other people that I network with that have all said the same thing, right? So I know exactly what I'm talking about. Not necessarily, obviously, I've made money in the stock market and investing, but this isn't necessarily what I've come up with myself. It's not like I'm some prodigy recommending you, oh, I have the secret. No, this is all information that's been passed down to me by people that are very, very wealthy and are already successful doing it, okay? An email auto response sequence, also something that I've, pretty much preached for the past couple years. We'll talk about freelancing on Fiverr and Upwork. Then we'll also talk about consulting, which is also a great opportunity to get into for beginners and, veteran entrepreneurs alike, or veteran business owners. Great opportunity for a lot of people. There's always something that you can monetize in the form of consulting. We are all good at something. We'll talk about drop shipping then, right? So eBay drop shipping, Poshmark drop shipping, Amazon drop shipping, Mercari drop shipping, and Shopify dropshipping. Then we'll move into the private label business model. We'll talk about, private labeling on Amazon, which I'm sure the majority of you have at least heard of or are familiar with that business model or what it is, right? We'll also talk about doing it for eBay and Mercari and Poshmark, which is something a lot of people sleep on. Then we'll move on to selling household items for extra cash, which is something that I recommend a lot of beginners do, or if you're just looking for some extra side income, great way to get into that, right? Then we'll talk about running ads to CPA offers, running ads to affiliate offers. Tutoring online and locally is actually one of the business models that I got started on initially. This is a great one that a lot of people sleep on. I would highly recommend that you take this seriously if you're looking for a legit way to make some money online or locally, right? You can tutor online or locally. And not just, you can turn it into a full-time income, but you could also just pocket some side income to focus on, sustaining you while you build a business that you like, right? Great opportunity. I'm telling you, check that out. Then we'll talk about selling on specific platforms, my, experience with them, the benefits of them, and whether I recommend them going forward. So we'll talk about selling on Poshmark, selling on Amazon, selling on eBay, selling on Mercari. We'll then talk about email blasting, which is something that, made me a lot of money in the past. So email blasting affiliate offers, email blasting CPA offers, buying and selling domains, we'll move on to next. So that's something that I used to do initially when I started as well, a lot like tutoring online. We'll talk about freelance arbitrage, which is another form of arbitrage from, site to site, and I'll introduce you to that. Then we'll finally move on to content marketing, selling on Letgo, selling on Facebook Marketplace, selling on OfferUp, flipping Instagram accounts, and then we'll wrap it up, and I'll open it up for some questions if you have any. So that's the main overview. I don't want to get too detailed into this because obviously I have a lot of detail in this PowerPoint right here that I'm going to cover all of this for you here. I've outlined it for you, and I'm ready to roll into these business models. I'm excited to introduce you to them. Remember, all of these business models are business models that I've made money from and monetized myself. So you can take them, scale them up, obviously, if I recommend them to you, and then monetize them yourself to build a full-time income right from your laptop. So with that being said, let's jump into the first lecture, and we'll cover retail arbitrage.